Welcome to the Bible Quiz. Today, we embark on an incredible journey through one of the most powerful stories in Scripture, the Exodus of Israel. From Moses' calling at the burning bush to the miraculous parting of the Red Sea, and from God's provision in the wilderness to the momentous arrival at the Promised Land, this journey is one of faith, endurance, and divine intervention. The Exodus is a story of deliverance, leadership, and God's unfailing promises. Join us in this exciting quiz and test your knowledge of Israel's journey to the Promised Land. Don't forget to like, comment, and share this quiz with your friends and family as we explore the wonders of God's power and faithfulness together. Now let's get started. Question 1. Why did Pharaoh enslave the Israelites in Egypt? A. They were foreigners. B. They had rebelled against Egypt. C. They were growing too numerous. D. They refused to worship Egyptian gods. You get 10 seconds. That's C. They were growing too numerous. According to Exodus chapter 1, verses 8 to 14, a new Pharaoh arose who did not know Joseph and feared that the Israelites were becoming too numerous. He worried they might join Egypt's enemies in war, so he enslaved them to suppress their growth. However, God's promise to multiply Abraham's descendants was still being fulfilled, showing that no earthly power can stop God's plan. Question 2. What did Pharaoh order to control the Israelite population? A. Expelling them from Egypt. B. Killing all male Hebrew babies. C. Forcing them into hard labor. D. Preventing them from marrying. You get 10 seconds. That's B, killing all male Hebrew babies. Pharaoh commanded the Hebrew midwives to kill all newborn Israelite boys, hoping to weaken their nation. Exodus chapter 1, verses 15 to 22. However, the midwives feared God and disobeyed Pharaoh, saving many babies. This decree later led to Moses being placed in a basket and hidden among the reeds, ultimately setting up his divine calling as Israel's deliverer. Question 3. Who found baby Moses in the river? A. Moses' sister. B. A Hebrew midwife. C. An Egyptian soldier. D. Pharaoh's daughter. You get 10 seconds. That's D, Pharaoh's daughter. Pharaoh's daughter discovered Moses in a basket floating on the Nile. She had compassion for him and raised him as her own, unknowingly fulfilling God's plan. Moses' sister, Miriam, cleverly suggested their mother as a nurse, allowing Moses to be nurtured in his Hebrew heritage before growing up in Pharaoh's palace. Exodus chapter 2, verses 5 to 10. Question 4. Why did Moses flee from Egypt? A. He killed an Egyptian. B. He stole from the palace. C. He was exiled by Pharaoh. D. He was sent to spy on Midian. You get 10 seconds. That's A. He killed an Egyptian. Moses saw an Egyptian beating a Hebrew slave and in anger killed the Egyptian. Exodus chapter 2, verses 11 to 15. When Pharaoh heard, he sought to kill Moses, forcing him to flee to Midian. This event marked the beginning of Moses' transformation from an Egyptian prince into God's chosen leader, learning humility and patience in the wilderness. Question 5. How did God first appear to Moses? A. In a dream. B. In a burning bush. C. In a thunderstorm. D. Through a prophet. You get 10 seconds. That's B. In a burning bush. In Exodus chapter 3, verses 1 to 6, while tending sheep in Midian, Moses saw a bush that was on fire but did not burn up. When he approached, God spoke to him, revealing himself as I am who I am, and called Moses to lead Israel out of Egypt. This encounter demonstrated God's holiness and power, confirming his divine mission for Moses. Cherished friend, hit subscribe and stay tuned for more great and engaging content in the future. Question 6. Who was chosen to speak on Moses' behalf? A. Aaron. B. Caleb. C. Joshua. D. Eleazar. You get 10 seconds. That's A. Aaron. Exodus chapter 4, verses 10 to 16, Moses expressed doubt about his ability to speak well, so God appointed his brother Aaron to be his spokesperson. Aaron played a key role in confronting Pharaoh and performing miracles, showing that God equips those he calls. Question 7. How many plagues did God send upon Egypt? A. 5. B. 7. C. 9. D. 10. You get 10 seconds. That's D. 10. In Exodus chapter 12, verses 29 to 30, God struck every firstborn in Egypt from Pharaoh's son to the lowest servant. Only those who obeyed God by marking their doors with lamb's blood were spared, establishing the first Passover, foreshadowing Jesus as the ultimate sacrificial lamb. Question 8. What was the first plague that God sent upon Egypt? A. Frogs. B. Darkness. C. The water turned to blood. D. Death of the firstborn. You get 10 seconds. That's C. The water turned to blood. In Exodus chapter 7, verses 14 to 24, God turned the Nile River into blood, making it undrinkable and killing the fish. This mocked the Egyptian gods and proved that only the Lord is sovereign over nature. Despite this, Pharaoh hardened his heart and refused to release the Israelites. Question 9. What did the Israelites do to protect themselves during the final plague? A. Hid in caves. B. Prayed for protection. C. Built a wall around their homes. D. Marked their doors with lamb's blood. You get 10 seconds. That's D, marked their doors with lamb's blood. Exodus chapter 12, verses 7 to 13. God commanded the Israelites to sacrifice a lamb and apply its blood to their doorposts. This act of obedience ensured that when the angel of death passed through Egypt, their households would be spared from the death of the firstborn. This event became known as Passover, symbolizing deliverance through the blood of the lamb, foreshadowing Jesus Christ as the ultimate sacrificial lamb who saves believers from spiritual death. John chapter 1, verse 29. Question 10. How did the Israelites escape Egypt? A. They fled on boats. B. They crossed the Red Sea. C. They built underground tunnels. D. They walked through the desert. You get 10 seconds. That's B. They crossed the Red Sea. In Exodus chapter 14, verses 21 to 31, as Pharaoh's army pursued them, God miraculously parted the Red Sea, allowing the Israelites to walk on dry ground. When the Egyptians attempted to follow, the waters returned and drowned them all. This event was the ultimate demonstration of God's power and faithfulness, proving that He fights for His people and delivers them from bondage. Question 11. Who led the Israelites in a song of victory after crossing the Red Sea? A. Miriam. B. Joshua. C. Moses. D. Caleb. You get 10 seconds. That's A. Miriam. Exodus chapter 15, verses 20 to 21. Miriam, the sister of Moses and Aaron, took a tambourine and led the women in singing and dancing, praising God for His great victory. Her song echoed God's power and justice, celebrating how He hurled Pharaoh's army into the sea. This moment illustrates the importance of worship and gratitude, as Israel acknowledged God as their protector and deliverer. Question 12. How did God provide food for the Israelites in the wilderness? A. He provided fruit trees. B. He gave them livestock. C. He sent manna and quail. D. He led them to hidden food supplies. You get 10 seconds. That's C. He sent manna and quail. After the Israelites complained of hunger, God provided manna, bread from heaven, every morning and quail in the evening. Exodus chapter 16, verses 4 to 35. The manna had to be gathered daily, teaching them to trust in God's provision. This event foreshadowed Jesus as the bread of life, John chapter 6, verse 35, who provides eternal sustenance. Question 13. How did God provide water for the Israelites in the desert? A. They dug wells. B. Moses struck a rock. C. He made it rain. D. He led them to an oasis. You get 10 seconds. That's B. Moses struck a rock. Exodus chapter 17, verse 6. When the Israelites thirsted in the wilderness, God commanded Moses to strike a rock at Horeb, and water flowed out to quench the people's thirst. This miracle demonstrated God's provision even in the harshest conditions. Later, in Numbers chapter 20 verses 8 to 12, Moses was told to speak to the rock, but he disobeyed by striking it again, which led to him being denied entry into the promised land. Question 14. What mountain did Moses receive the 10 Commandments on? A. Mount Carmel. B. Mount Zion. C. Mount Nebo. D. Mount Sinai. You get 10 seconds. That's D. Mount Sinai. Moses ascended Mount Sinai, where God gave him the 10 Commandments, establishing the laws that would govern Israel. The mountain was covered with fire, smoke, and thunder, signifying God's holiness and power. These commandments became the foundation of biblical morality, emphasizing worshiping God alone, honoring parents, and living righteously. Exodus chapters 19 to 20. Question 15. What happened when Moses delayed coming down from Mount Sinai? A. The Israelites repented. B. They fasted and prayed. C. They built a golden calf. D. They fled into the desert. You get 10 seconds. That's C. They built a golden calf. While Moses was on Mount Sinai for 40 days, the Israelites grew impatient and asked Aaron to make them a god. Exodus chapter 32, verses 1 to 6. He fashioned a golden calf, and they worshipped it, violating God's first commandment. When Moses returned and saw their idolatry, he broke the stone tablets in anger, leading to severe punishment for their sin. Question 16. How did God lead the Israelites through the wilderness? A. A pillar of cloud and fire. B. A star in the sky. C. An angel walking ahead. D. A talking animal. You get 10 seconds. That's A. A pillar of cloud and fire. In Exodus chapter 13, verses 21 to 22, God led the Israelites by a pillar of cloud by day and a pillar of fire by night, showing his constant presence and guidance. The cloud provided direction and shade, while the fire offered light and protection. This miraculous guidance assured them that God was with them every step of the way. Question 17. What did the Israelites do when they reached the Promised Land's border? A. They built a city outside. B. They immediately entered. C. They fought the Canaanites. D. They sent spies to scout the land. You get 10 seconds. That's D. They sent spies to scout the land. Numbers chapter 13, verses 1 to 33, Moses sent 12 spies to explore Canaan. 10 returned with fearful reports, while Joshua and Caleb encouraged the people to trust God. However, the Israelites refused to enter due to fear, leading to 40 years of wandering as punishment. This story highlights the importance of faith over fear. Question 18. How long did the Israelites wander in the wilderness? A. 50. B. 40, C. 30, D. 20. You get 10 seconds. That's B. 40. Numbers chapter 14 verses 33 to 34, because of their unbelief and disobedience, God declared that the Israelites would wander for 40 years, allowing the faithless generation to die out. Only Joshua and Caleb from the original spies lived to see the promised land, showing that trust in God leads to his promises, while doubt brings delay. Question 19. Who succeeded Moses as the leader of Israel? A. Aaron, B. Caleb, C. Gideon, D. Joshua. You get 10 seconds. That's D. Joshua. Deuteronomy chapter 31 verses 7 to 8, before Moses died, he appointed Joshua as Israel's new leader. In Joshua chapter 1 verses 6 to 9, God commanded Joshua to be strong and courageous, assuring him of victory and divine presence. Joshua later led the conquest of Canaan, fulfilling God's promise to Abraham's descendants. Question 20. Where did Moses die? A. Mount Nebo, B. Mount Sinai, C. Mount Ararat, D. Mount Carmel. You get 10 seconds. That's A. Mount Nebo. In Deuteronomy chapter 34 verses 1 to 5, Moses ascended Mount Nebo, where God showed him the promised land but did not allow him to enter due to his disobedience at Meribah. Numbers chapter 20 verse 12. He died there at 120 years old, and God buried him in an unknown location, ensuring that Israel would focus on worshiping God, not Moses' tomb. Stay with us until the end of the video to see how many Bible quiz questions you got right. Don't forget to note your score and share it with us in the comments section. Let's explore and learn more about the Bible with these fun and interesting questions. Question 21. Who were the only two men from the original generation to enter the Promised Land? A. Miriam and Aaron, B. Aaron and Moses, C. Joshua and Caleb, D. Gideon and Samson. You get 10 seconds. That's C. Joshua and Caleb. According to Numbers chapter 14 verse 30, only Joshua and Caleb were allowed to enter Canaan because they trusted God's promise, while the other spies doubted. Their faithfulness and courage secured their inheritance, showing that God rewards those who believe in His word. Question 22. What body of water did the Israelites cross to enter Canaan? A. The Red Sea, B. The Jordan River, C. The Nile River, D. The Euphrates River. You get 10 seconds. That's B. The Jordan River. In Joshua chapter 3, verses 14 to 17, when the Israelites reached the Jordan River, God parted the waters, allowing them to cross on dry ground, just as He had done at the Red Sea. This miracle signified a new beginning as they stepped into the Promised Land, showing that God is always faithful to His promises. Question 23. What was the first city conquered in the Promised Land? A. Ai. B. Bethel. C. Hebron. D. Jericho. You get 10 seconds. That's D. Jericho. In Joshua chapter 6, God commanded the Israelites to march around Jericho for 7 days. On the 7th day, after they shouted and blew trumpets, the walls collapsed, allowing them to take the city. This victory was not by military might, but by faith and obedience, proving that God fights for His people when they trust Him completely. Question 24. What was inside the Ark of the Covenant during the time of the Exodus? A. The 10 Commandments, manna and Aaron's staff. B. The scrolls of Moses. C. The bones of Joseph. D. A golden idol. You get 10 seconds. That's A. The 10 Commandments, manna and Aaron's staff. In Exodus chapter 25, verse 16, God instructed that the Ark of the Covenant would hold the stone tablets with the 10 Commandments, a golden jar of manna, and Aaron's staff that had budded. These items symbolized God's covenant, provision, and chosen leadership, serving as a reminder of His faithfulness to Israel. Question 25. How did the Israelites defeat the Amalekites? A. Night ambush. B. Fire and chariots. C. Moses raised his staff. D. The Ark of the Covenant. You get 10 seconds. That's C. Moses raised his staff. In Exodus chapter 17, verses 8 to 13, as the Amalekites attacked, Moses stood on a hill, lifting God's staff. When his hands were raised, Israel prevailed, but when he lowered them, the enemy advanced. Aaron and Hur supported his arms, ensuring victory. This event highlights dependence on God's power and the role of community support in spiritual battles. Bravo! You've completed the Journey to the Promised Land quiz. How did you do? Whether you got every question right or learned something new, the story of Exodus reminds us of God's faithfulness, power, and the importance of trusting Him through every challenge. If you enjoyed this quiz, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe for more Bible challenges. Thank you for joining us. Keep studying God's Word and walking in faith. See you in the next quiz. God bless you.